Yo, what is going on, guys? You got your boy MegaLugia here, coach of the Bayern Munchlax, here for week 3 of the NPL. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome to our team. And coming off of last week, guys, I really want to pick up a win. So spoilers incoming. If you haven't seen last week's match, again, go ahead if you haven't seen it. But we came off a loss that week against the Texas Triantrums, and you know, I would say I'm disappointed in the way I played. I'm more disappointed in my prep. And I went over the team builder last week, and I mainly prepped for a group of Mons, or a core of Mons that I expected to come. And he brought a totally different team. And although I said I was prepared for the rest, I wasn't as prepared as I would have liked to have been. So we're not going to make that same mistake this week, going up against the Kentucky Luxrays, coached by Grim. So make sure to check out his channel. It will be linked in the description down below. And yeah, so I'm hoping we come up with a win this week. I'm not gonna make the same mistake again last week. And if you guys are hyped, make sure to drop a like. Let me know how you think we're gonna do, and hopefully we can munch our way to victory. So let's get straight into his team. So the Kentucky Luxrays have Mega Bayonet, Talonflame, Starmie, Drugalgi, Absol, Breloom, Azov, Registeel, Luxray, Whimsicott, and Florges. So a very stacked team, a very interesting team. Some of his Mons that match up really well against us, and some of our Mons that match up really well against him. So it's a bit of a 50-50, as I think every week before the match I get super nervous, and you guys can see it going on right here in my team builder. But I think we're gonna do well this match. So let's run through his team. His first Mon obviously being his Mega Bayonet. Mega Bayonet is a very interesting Mon, having, you know, Prankster once it Mega Evolves, so access moves like Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave, Toxic, Destiny Bond as well if he feels he's in a sticky situation and he wants to trade one of his Mon, for ours, and if he feels like that's a benefit, we do have to watch out for that. Mega Bayonet also has a really high attack stat, I think 175 or 165, something like that. So don't sleep on Mega Bayonet, right? It does have really good power. He does have super effective moves against our Mega, being Mega Gardevoir, with Shadow Sneak as priority and Shadow Claw as well. So we do have to watch out for that. Mega Bayonet could be a real problem against our team. So I do have to scout out early game and see what kind of moves it's running, because it's very much a toss-up as to what form moves he wants to bring. Next up, he's got the Talonflame, and what else can you say about Talonflame, right? Talonflame is Smogon Bird, Brave Bird. We all know what it does. He can bring the all-out attacking set with the Adamant Choice Banded, Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, U-Turn, and Tailwind if he gets in a sticky situation. He could bring the specially defensive set, you know, max HP, max Spadef, with Bulk, Roost, Acrobatics, and Will-O-Wisp. I do have to watch out for that, as he does resist the Hyper Voice from our Mega Gardevoir, and if he wants to potentially stall us out from there and just increase his defenses and attack and potentially sweep through our team, I do have to watch out for that. But Talonflame is a bit one-dimensional, and in terms of the moves it can run, you know, it's going to be Brave Bird and Flare Blitz, but it does have that 4 times weakness to Stealth Rock. So that leads me on to his next Mon, being Starmie. Starmie is his only way of removing hazards with the Rapid Spin. So if Talonflame comes, 99.9999999% sure Starmie is going to come as well, because he doesn't want to have limited switch-ins, obviously, with his Talonflame. So I'm expecting both of them to come. Starmie in its own right is a very scary Mon, having access to moves like Hydro Pump, Scald, Thunderbolt, Toxic, Thunderwave, Rapid Spin, you know, Reflect type if he wants to be that guy. But Starmie can definitely put in a lot of work against our team. Bit of a 4 move slot syndrome as to what he wants to bring. He could bring, you know, he obviously needs the Rapid Spin for Talonflame, Scald for Stab, Psychic as well. And then last move could be something like Reflect type, Toxic, Thunderbolt if he doesn't want to get walled by our Gyarados. So I do have to watch out for that early game. And of course he might need the HP Grass as well, because our Toxicroak and our Lantern will wall it with a Water Absorb. So if he has HP Grass, I need to scout out for that early game as well, and that limits the moves that he can bring. Starmie as well, if he wants, he could either bring a offensive set with max HP, max special attack, or more of a supportive set, max HP, max speed. I'm going to have to scout that out early game as well with the damage calcs and proceed with the rest of my team from there. Next up, he's got the Drugalgi, and Drugalgi is a very interesting Mon, because initially he had Nidoqueen on his team. I do want to point that out. And when I was first team building for the team, he had the Nidoqueen, and Nidoqueen honestly would have 6-0'd our team. Combination of Earthquake, Earth Power, Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, Ice Beam, Sucker Punch, Stealth Rocks, honestly 6-0'd our team. it was really scary to prep for. So I am so happy and so thankful that he traded it to the Portland Crobats for Dragalge. But Dragalge is a offensive powerhouse in its own right? Choice specs adaptability modest is no jokes. I thankfully do have a fairy on my team being Mega Gardevoir, so he can't spam Dracos. But having said that, he does have Sludge Wave, so I'm gonna have to watch out for that. And Sludge Wave OHKOs my Mega Gardevoir, and luckily it is a slow mon. But if he wants to bring a Choice Scarf Dragalge, I can see that happening, but it won't hit as hard in that case. So I do have to scout it out early game, because he may bring a Choice Scarf set, I bring in my Mega Gardevoir, and I just get OHKO'd with a Sludge Wave. So I do have to watch out for that. Next up, he has the Absol, regular form, not Mega, of course. And Absol is also a very scary mon, having a very high attack stat and relatively okay speed tier of 70. I mean, if he does bring the Absol, I'm expecting him to bring potentially a Choice Scarf set. Although, well, the Choice Scarf set mainly to OHKO my Mega Gardevoir with Iron Tail. But having said that, if he does bring the standard set with Life Orb Adamant, then Sucker Punch deals a lot of damage as well to my Mega Gardevoir. So Absol is definitely a real threat to my team, having a lot of good cover moves like Player Off, Fire Blast, Iron Tail, Sucker Punch, Knockoff. So I do expect the Absol to come, but I have prepped around it as well. Next up, he has the Breloom, and Breloom is a very, very good mon against the rest of my team as well. Of course, having the Spore, Spore never missing sleep move, and that's definitely going to be a really big problem. Thankfully, there is Sleep Clause, so you can only put one mon to sleep, but I do have to watch out for that. He may bring the Life Orb set or the Focus Sash set, and if he brings the Focus Sash set, then I am expecting it to lead off the game, and I do have ways to work around that. If he does bring the Life Orb set, then we can proceed to, not have to worry about that Focus Sash shenanigans, but he will hit harder, so I do have to watch out for that. Bullet Seed, Spore, Rock Tomb is the main set I'm expecting. Of course, he could bring the Substitute Toxic Poison Heal set, but I feel we do have more ways to combat that if he does bring it. Next up, he has the Azelf, and Azelf is a very interesting mon to prep for because you really don't know what it's going to bring, right? It could be the Focus Sash Suicide Lead set with Stealth Rocks, Explosion, Taunt, and maybe Psychic, or he could bring the Choice Scarf offensive set with U-Turn. I think it gets U-Turn. Yeah, it does get U-Turn. Psychic, Thunderbolt, that kind of stuff. Or you could bring like a more supportive set with Dual Screens and Light Clay. So I have made sure to prep around it as best as I can, but there's not really a definitive way to prep for Azelf, as it is a very diverse mon and can honestly bring whatever set it wants. Has a really high speed set, 115, outspeeds the rest of my team, so he could just invest a lot in bulk and see how we go from there. Next up, he has the Registeel, and this Registeel is honestly the bane to my existence because it is probably one of the best counters to Mega Gardevoir. I have Heatran, which I believe is the best counter to Mega Gardevoir. We have it on our team, but his Registeel definitely is a problem because even if I bring max special attack modest, a max HP, max Def Registeel is 3-hit KO'd by my Mega Gardevoir's Focus Blast, and I do have to land Focus Miss in the first place, so I'm not going to be relying on that. But the Registeel is a real problem. Again, another mon that may have 4 Moonslot Syndrome, because I'm expecting it to probably bring Stealth Rocks, of course, unless he brings Stealth Rocks on the Azelf. Iron Head for my Mega Gardevoir. Earthquake to potentially hit my Heatran, because otherwise Heatran would wall that thing for days. And maybe something like Seismic Toss, Toxic, Thunder Wave, one of those 3 moves. And if he brings the Seismic Toss, that's to prevent subs being set up on his face on potential other mons. And Toxic, if he wants to status some other mon, if he thinks I'm gonna switch out. So I'm not sure what moves he's gonna bring, but I'm definitely expecting the Iron Head and the Stealth Rock, but that is Registeel. I have to make sure to get that out of the way before our Mega Gardevoir could potentially put in work if I do bring it. So that is the Registeel. Next up, he has the Luxray, very, very good electric type, that doesn't have a lot of speed but can hit really hard, can be special, can be physical, can be mixed as well. Volt Switch, has the Intimidate, has Guts, so I do have to make sure I don't just throw around Toxics willy-nilly and give that thing an attack boost. I think if he does bring it, it may be Choice Scarf to deal with the rest of my team, but not really sure what I can say about Luxray. You pretty much expect the moves it's going to run, so that's Luxray. I made sure I do prep around it as well. He could bring it for my Gyarados, as it is a very good electric type versus it, but we're going to have to see if he brings it on during the match. Next up, he has his next 2 fairy types being Whimsicott and Florges, and this man has 2 fairies and we have 2 dragons, so Do I know if I'm gonna bring my 2 dragons? You guys are gonna just have to wait and see. But Whimsicott and Florges are a real nuisance to my team. Whimsicott obviously being very, very fast and having the prankster ability as well. So if I do proceed to set up with one of my mons, he can just bring it in, encore me, and then just ruin my plans from there. Florges, very, very, very good wall, especially defensive or physically defensive. I expect probably a physical defensive set to take on mons like my Salamence if I do bring it with Iron Tail, or especially defensive from my Kyurem. Very, very good mons. Like I said, Florges does offer cleric support with Wish and Aromatherapy, and Whimsicott very fast with U-Turn, Giga Drain, Moonblast, and prankster shenanigans like Stun Spore, Encore, and I'm not sure if it gets Disable. But that's his Whimsicott and Florges. I have made sure to heavily prep for those things because I do see them as very likely mons to come. But nonetheless, guys, excuse me for all that. Nonetheless, that is his team. And you know what? It's time to move on to our team. So the first mon that we are bringing this week is Amidala, our Mega Gardevoir with Hyper Voice, Psyshock, Protect, and Will-O-Wisp. Bit of an interesting EV spread, 12 HP, 220 defense, max special attack, 4 special defense, and 20 speed, timid, and trace as the ability before Mega Evolve. So for the moveset that you see here, Hyper Voice, Psyshock, pretty self-explanatory. Hyper Voice hits everything on his team super hard, even the Dragalge. Psyshock is there just to pick up a guaranteed KO on it. Will-O-Wisp is there in case I'm in with my Mega Gardevoir and predict a switch out probably into the Registeel. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, get some residual damage, and potentially have the Iron Head do even less damage. And the Protect is there because I didn't want to bring max speed, and the reason I had to bring Protect is because after we Mega Evolve with 20 speed and Timid Nature, we outspeed everything on his team that I want to outspeed, right? Like the Absol, like the Breloom, like the Dragalge, like the Florges, whatever it is. Because before Mega Evolving, we are 80 base speed, and I don't want to Mega Evolve on a Mon that is faster on us before we Mega Evolve and get O-Code from there, and that's why we have the Protect. Protect is also there in case we lead versus the Azelf, and if I expect him to go for, if I see him go for Stealth Rocks, I'm probably going to expect him to be the explosion set, so I go for Hyper Voice, bring it down to the Sash, go for Protect on the explosion, and the Azelf is killed from there. The EV spread that you see, 220 defense, allows us to live a max attack choice, I think it's choice banded. It's either choice banded or sharp beak from a Adamant Talonflame Brave Bird. We take 86% max, so we can live it after Stealth Rocks and proceed to do a lot of damage back with the Psyshock after the recoil. So that's why we have our the EV spread there. It also allows us to live a Sucker Punch from a max attack Adamant Life Orb Absol after Stealth Rocks. And the special attack is there just to nuke as hard as we can, and like I said, the speed is there to outspeed the stuff that I want to outspeed. So that is our Mega Gardevoir Amidala. I'm expecting her to put in a lot of work this week, so hopefully she comes through and pulls clutch. Next up, we have a new member to the team. Well, not new member, but making his first appearance is our Susan Boyle, the Seismitoad, with Stealth Rock, Scald, Knockoff Earthquake, 232 HP, 4 attack, 244 defense, 4 special attack, 20 speed, Water Absorb, and Bold with the Leftovers as the item. Now, the moveset that you see there is pretty self-explanatory. Stealth Rocks will need Rocks Up to, make sure we can hinder his Talonflame as well as all of his other mods. Scald, pick up some burn, stab, Earthquake there is there as well to hit the Registeel harder if he is especially defensive, and Knockoff just there for utility. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to bring Toxic or Sludge Wave, for example. Sludge Wave hitting the Breloom who thinks he can get a free switch in on us and Okoing it from there. Toxic if he wants to bring in the Florges or the Whimsicott. But I decided on Knockoff because Knockoff is always nice to get rid of items, as well as it hits the Starmie super effectively and deals, relatively good damage against the rest of his team. This is one of our main switch-ins to the Talonflame, as a max attack Braver does, I think, around 30%. And we could potentially, and we can deal a lot of damage with, Knockoff and Scald. And Water Absorb is there because he cannot go for free Scald with his Starmie. So I'm expecting a lot of work to be put in by Susan Boyle. Very, very good switch in to his, to his Talonflame. And even his Absol, Knockoff I think does around 40%, and we can do a lot of damage back with Scald and potentially getting a burn. So a lot riding on our Seismitoad this week, and I was also tossing the idea of bringing Refresh, a move that gets rid of status, in case I was 1v1ing the Registeel and Registeel goes for Toxic, but I thought it was a bit too situational, and Scald and Earthquake do a lot of damage as it is, so that is why we have Susan Boyle, our Seismitoad. Next up, we are bringing Pepe, our Skunk Tank, with the Sucker Punch, Crunch, Defog, and Poison Jab. Pretty much max attack and max speed with a little bit of special defense. Adamant and the Aftermath Nature with the Lumberry as our item. So this is a very good mon against his team. Poison Jab dealing around 50 or 60% to a max defense, max HP Florges, and we can make sure to not get 2-hit KO'd by, well, yeah, we get 2-hit KO'd by his Moonblast, but, well, yeah, we are 2-hit KO'd by Florges and Moonblast as well as Whimsicott. I think Whimsicott's Moonblast is a 3-hit KO after, yeah, is a 2-hit KO, it's a 3-hit KO, and the Poison Jab, obviously we outspeed the Florges, so we can 2-hit KO with the Poison Jab. Sucker Punch with the attack investment that we have is enough to OHKO a Starmie as well as a Crunch if he potentially wants to go for a Thunder Wave, predicting us to go for a Sucker Punch, and we can go for Crunch and knock it out. Defog is there. I'm not expecting to click this much because I do want the Stealth Rocks up on his side of the field, but if it comes down to it and the Talonflame is knocked out, or I feel it's not as much of a threat as it might be, I'm gonna go for the Defog and get rid of the rocks on our side of the field. Not much to say about our Skuntank, just Crunch, Poison Jab, Sucker Punch deals a lot of damage against his Fairy types and his Psychic types, so hopefully Pepe can put in the work this week. Coming up next, we have another new debutant being Kyurem Sub-Zero with the Draco Meteor, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, pretty much max special attack, max speed again, with a modest nature this time, rocking the Choice Scarf. And this mon is going to be deadly because other than his fairies and, you know, potentially the Registeel, Draco knocks everything out. And what doesn't knock it out with it, what doesn't get knocked out with a Draco Meteor gets 2-hit KO'd with an Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, or Earth Power. Those combinations of moves. Choice Scarf with the speed that we have allows me to outspeed everything on his team that that is not going to be faster and Choice Scarf, like an Azelf for example, but I'm not expecting a Choice Scarf Azelf. He might bring it, but we'll have to work around that. But modest nature allows us to hit very hard, and a Earth Power is a 3-hit KO on the Registeel. I'm telling you, man, this Registeel is a problem for my team. But Flash Cannon is a 2-hit KO against a max yeah, it is a 2-hit KO against a Florges after Stealth Rocks, and we outspeed it as well, and we can definitely take one Moonblast as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get no special attack up with the Moonblast, but there is our Sub-Zero Kyurem. I expect it to put in a lot of work, especially late game, once a lot of the threats are whittled down and damage has been dealt. He comes in, clicks Ice Beam, and just wrecks through his team. So that is Kyurem, our Sub-Zero. I'm expecting it to shine in its debut this week, and let me know what you guys think of it as well. Rounding out our team, we have Wrath, our Gyarados, and Gyarados has come to all of our matches because I just love the diversity it gives us. Last week I brought a bulky set with Rest, Sleep Talk, Thunder Wave. Week before that I brought a Dragon Dance Substitute set, and I'm bringing that not exact set, but that set this week as well. Dragon Dance, Waterfall, Substitute, Ice Fang, 36 HP, max attack, 4 defense, 4 special defense, 212 speed, Jolly with Intimidate, and the item that you see right there is the Safety Goggles. Now, Safety Goggles is going to be a very important item this match because, like I said, the Breloom is a real problem to my team, and if he thinks he can just go for free spores, then I am definitely going to be taking advantage of that. So a scenario that I have in mind is him leading off with the Breloom if he does bring it. I lead off with my Gyarados. He's going to go for Spore, expecting to, get a free sleep off. Who wouldn't? I go for Dragon Dance on that, and then Ice Fang will knock it out. If he is the Focus Sash set, then I can go for Ice Fang and then Ice Fang again. And the combination of Bullet Seed plus a Mach Punch after Intimidate will not knock out my Gyarados with that EV spread. So that's very important to keep in mind. We are also not 2-hit KO'd by I think we are 3-hit KO'd by a Whimsicott's Giga Drain, so offensive Whimsicott that is, so Ice Fang can proceed to knock it out as well. And we go for the Substitute as well on the Registeel. Like I said, if he doesn't want to bring Seismic Talk on his Registeel and he brings Iron Head, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, and Toxic, then he cannot touch our Gyarados. That's why we go for the Substitute and proceed to Dragon Dance and pretty much sweep through his team from there. Waterfall Ice Fang does really good coverage against his team. Of course, Waterfall and Ice Fang are resisted by the Starmie, but a +2 Waterfall 2-hit KOs the Starmie, so we don't have to worry about that. And that is Wrath, our Gyarados. 212 speed with Jolly Nature allows me to outspeed a max speed Breloom as well as a max speed Jolly Breloom and max speed Jolly what's it called? Absol. So that's why we have Wrath, our Gyarados, hoping it puts in work, and the Safety Goggles I expected to catch him off guard and definitely take him by surprise. Last mon on our team, another new debutant. We have a lot of new mons making their way this week, and we have Hephaestus, our Heatran. Shout out to anyone who gets that nickname, let me know. With the Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Ancient Power, Dark Pulse, 244 HP, 4 defense, 60 special attack, 188 special defense, and 12 speed, modest flash fire with the Assault Vest. Now, this is also one of my mons that I expect to put in a lot of work. It also is also a very good switch into the Talonflame. As a max attack, Adamant Choice Band Talonflame does 20, or I think it's a 4-hit KO, maybe even a 5-hit KO with Brave Bird, and we can proceed to Oko with Ancient Power if he wants to bring the specially defensive set, max HP, max special defense, and potentially roost or bulk up stall us out. Ancient Power does a minimum of 68%, and we always have that cheeky chance of getting the +1 boost on all our stats, so he will have to watch out for that. Lava Plume for stab, obviously doing a lot of damage against the team, giving us that chance to burn. I believe it is a 3-8 KO and especially defensive Registeel, and Earthquake is a 2-8 KO on us, but we outspeed and we can do a lot of damage there. Flash Cannon for his fairies, being his Whimsicott and Florges, 2 KOing them from there. Dark Pulse, you see, is a bit of an interesting move. I was debating whether between Dark Pulse and Earth Power. Earth Power hitting the Dragalge, but the only way Dragalge can 2-hit KO this is if it locks itself into Focus Blast with a Choice Specs, but he has to land that move, and if he does lock himself, I can switch out and work around that. So this is a very good switch into the Dragalge as well. And the Dark Pulse, like I said, is there for the Starmie, because if he is max attack, max special attack, modest life orb Starmie, then that is the only way he can 2-hit KO this with Hydro Pump. And if he is, we can deal 88. Yeah, if he is that max offensive set, then that's the only way he can 2-hit KO us with Hydro Pump. But we proceed to Oko it with Dark Pulse after Stealth Rocks. And if he is the defensive set, then he cannot 2-hit KO us with Hydro Pump, and we can still 2-hit KO him with Dark Pulse. So Heatran's gonna put in a lot of work this week. Unfortunately, doesn't have any reliable recovery or residual recovery with leftovers, but I felt the Assault Vest was very necessary. The 12 speed is to make sure we can speed creep a Registeel and a Florges who wants to speed creep us a little bit as well, so we can make sure to outspeed it. And that is Hephaestus, our Heatran. Definitely expecting to put a lot of work this week, and one of the reasons why I drafted it. So that is our team, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of it. If there are any other mons you think I should have brought this team this week. I didn't bring the Salamence because I expected him to probably prep for a Choice Scarf Moxie set as I brought in the past 2 weeks. So, and I didn't really feel like it put in too much work this week, so that's why we didn't bring the Salamence. But again, let me know what you thought. Hopefully we come out with a win this week. Make sure to come back tomorrow for the match as we munch our way to victory. It's been your boy MegaLugia here checking out. Peace.